Perfect for a video. Right, Milana? This is perfect for a video.
Yes, I'm fine for a video.
What?
I'm fine for a video.
Oh, I know why she's acting like this. She's really scared. But anyway, yeah, boat adventure. How do you feel about this?
Not so great, but
Yeah. I don't know. So I saw a different boat over there, I think. Yeah. There's another boat over there. You see it? Yeah. Another boat. We're gonna take out. We're gonna take off.
we're going right now.
Whee! Woohoo! Super awesome! Taking off. We're on our way. I'm on my way. Ba-na-na-na-na-na-na.
All right, good afternoon, guys. Welcome aboard the Chicagoan. We're going to get going here on our 10-mile round trip up and down the scenic Wisconsin River. We're going to head 5 miles north, turn around, and 5 miles back. We will be making one shore landing today over at the Witches Gulch. It's a beautiful glacial meltwater canyon. We also have one of our concession stands and restrooms back there. They should be serving some hot drinks. So,
Yeah, boarding instructions.
I'm your tour guide. I've been working out here for 7 years now. I am a local. I live right here in town. So if you have any questions about the river, the rocks, stuff to do in town, places to eat, anything like that, I should have an answer for you. If I don't know the answer, I think you're really good at making stuff up though. Whenever I'm not here on the river, you can find me over in my studio. I'm also a painter and ceramic artist. So he can introduce himself. He's also going to go over a few quick safety rules, and then we'll get started on the tour.
I'd like to welcome you folks on board to Chicago. As far as rules and regs goes, pretty simple. You ask that there be no smoking on board your vessel as a courtesy to your fellow passengers. For the most part, remain seated while the boat is in motion. Now, we are experiencing a little bit of high water right now, so the boat will move around, get tossed around a bit by the forces. So,
Wow.
for your own safety, if you want to stand momentarily, you can do that, and then return to your seats again as soon as possible. One hard and fast rule, and that is don't throw anything in the river. You're welcome to have food or drink on board the vessel with you. All we ask when you're done with it is to use the garbage cans. Everybody knows how to use the garbage cans. The boat,
Of course.
shore landings, and especially the river, as clean as we can. It freezes over during the winter months. Ahead of us, you can see first off the charter and zoom
Minecraft
around,
IRL.
power stops,
Oh
stuff
my
like
god.
that. Up, you can see the bus dock and then the dry dock area. Our conventional vessels come out on a cradle and winch system. You can see the couple of the cradles right down the water's edge. Tracks extend down in about another 50, 60 feet. Lower the cradle in the water, got the boat over the top of it, carefully position it, and pull the whole thing back out of the river. Where everything goes right in that process takes about 20 minutes, and about another hour to lock the boats up. That's where the grinding and painting and scraping and Sandstone National Park, a whitewater rafting guide up the Upper Colorado, which is Shoshone and Newcastle. Drove a dinner boat up on Castle Rock Lake, that's the next dam upriver from here. And another dinner boat in all places, Des Moines, Iowa. Strange, terrible story involving a woman in the boat. Suffice it to say, I'm still friendly.
Traveling on, it is the longest river in our state.
Wow.
It gets its headwaters at the upper Wisconsin-Michigan state border at a beautiful lake called Mont Busey. From there, flows 435 miles, diagonally and crookedly throughout our state, before it empties into the Mississippi River down at Wyalusing State Park near Prairie du Chien, Wisconsin. Pretty cool thing about the river, it drops in elevation about 1,100 feet along its journey, so it's great for hydroelectricity. It's 10 by 26 dams, 21 of those are hydroelectric. The very first one of those dams we built was built right here in Wisconsin Dells. It's known as the Kilbourne Dam. You might have seen the Kilbourne Dam as we left our docks. If you missed it, don't worry, it should still be there when we get back, so I'll put it out at the end of this one. That was built all the way back in 1909, and it is the Kilbourne Dam that separates us from the lower Dells. We're above the dam, so that's why we call this area the Upper Dells. As we leave the city of Wisconsin Dells behind us, I always like to say, let's leave behind us all the things that did not make the area famous, at least to begin with. And what I'm talking about are those water parks, t-shirt shops, upside-down houses, golf courses. Those are all great additions to our area, but they are newer additions. Those started popping up here in the 60s. Well, we've been giving river tours for 165 years. So I would like to take you back in time, show you what originally brought people to the Dells, the beauty of the river and the rocks. Follow the right shoreline, that'll lead your eyes to a large exposed cliff standing at 65 feet high. We call this one High Rock. So go ahead and wave and say High Rock. Across from that on the left shoreline, you'll see another cliff stands about 10 feet taller, coming in at 75 feet. That was called Romance Cliff. Together, these two make up the jaws of the Wisconsin River, or the gateway to the Upper Dells. Between these two cliffs is actually the deepest part at about 105 feet. Coming up on the right side, chimneys of the early settlers in the area. In my opinion, it looks like a big old stack of pancakes. It was created by wind, water, and frost erosion in the very soft and fragile sandstone. And I'll tell you a little bit more about the geology in a few minutes.
Mama's back.
Rock along the shorelines is called Cambrian or Potsdam sandstone. You can actually only find this specific type of sandstone in 4 places in the entire world. It's in Potsdam, Germany, Zurich, Switzerland. There's a small deposit in New York, but the largest, most grand deposit you'll find anywhere is right here in Wisconsin Dells. What makes this type of sandstone so unique is its age. Geologists date it back to the Cambrian time period, about 600 million years ago. At that point in time, this was beachfront property along the ancient Cambrian Sea. And all the sand was washed up year after year, creating our beautiful sandstone cliffs. Now, some years this was all underwater. I would have created some of the flat layers you're going to see. We'll also see cross bedding up ahead in a bit. That's where the angles are going to be at layers. There were years that the water was seeded, and this is actually a dry desert sand dune. They're heated by the Earth's core, leaving it some of the softest exposed bedrock in the face of the Earth. If you have a piece of it in your hand, it is pretty easy to crumble it back into sand. So that's also how the trees can dig their roots directly into the rock. Probably noticed that by now. They can get the roots up to 50 feet into the rock with little to no topsoil at all. And it's also a very porous type of rock. It does absorb a lot of water, much like a sponge, creating a great habitat for all the trees and the vegetation.
Didn't he say there was some kind of dam recording shit.
The channel does branch out a couple directions. That's the old riverbed. Was the original channel of the river until this newer section was carved out about 12,000 years ago. We'll be taking this side on the right today. We'll meet back up with the old riverbed. This break in the channel creates the largest island in the river. At 210 acres, this is Blackhawk's Island. Pretty cool thing about the island, you can find every species of tree native to Wisconsin on the island. So it is owned by the University of Wisconsin, and they actually use this as an outdoor learning center. And pinks, tans, all the variation in color is due to trace minerals deposited in the sandstone, such as manganese, copper, iron, and zinc.
Wow.
Two rocks that jut out of the island. They're pretty similar in size, shape, and color. So we call these our twin sisters. And we do like to name our rocks. We call the first one Kate. The second one coming up, we call Duplicate.
Where are the rocks?
On the left. First one's right there. See it? Second one has that sign on it.
Oh. That one and that one, I guess.
Gorge, that beautiful opening in the rocks, named because of its beautiful canopy of trees, creates a cathedral-like sound back there. Alex Cheese Curds and the Packers, we were known for our lumber industry. Specifically, our white pine would be cut down, tossed into the river, where it could float down to the sawmills. From there, all the timber was cut up into lumber. That lumber would be assembled into rafts and then would ride those the rest of the way down the river, using this as a natural highway to deliver and sell their lumber along. Some of those men would make it as far as New Orleans before selling all of their lumber. They'd continue down the Mississippi once they made it that far. But if you would have talked to any of those men, they probably would have told you about their time here in the Dells. This was the most dangerous part of their entire journey, especially this section called the Narrows. Not only because it is so narrow, but up ahead of the boat, the river comes to a sharp 90-degree turn. So it's pretty difficult to navigate on those rafts, especially considering they were out here before the dams were built. So the water was rushing even faster through here. Still today, you can see quite a bit of movement in the water in this section. There's lots of whirlpools, undertows. Back then, this was a whitewater rapids area. So oftentimes, as they tried to round the corner, they would crash into these rocks, breaking apart the rafts, sometimes even taking their lives. That's how this area got its name, the Devil's Elbow.
Look at that log, sheesh. Look at that forest, sheesh.
River pilot from 1849 to 58. So that was led by one of the standing river pilots that used to be out here. Those men were paid to hop aboard the lumber rafts. They would help them to safely navigate this bend because it was so dangerous. Okay. It's been said that Leroy could be seen out here in a top hat, three-piece suit, and patent leather shoes. He was so confident in navigating these waters. He did eventually find himself without a job, though, once the railroad came through. That was a much safer way to ship all of the lumber. So I had to get a little creative, but he did come up with a new company giving boat tours of the Dells. So if that sounds familiar to you. A little different than ours today. Back then, you head down to his dock, hand him 2 bits, and in exchange, he'd hand you a couple oars, and then you row yourself up and down the river. I've been told that those tours lasted up to 8 hours long, so they're definitely a little more accommodating these days. But we do take a lot of pride in being part of one of the oldest industries here in the state of Wisconsin. Left, you might have noticed these lacy-looking pine trees. Those are called Canadian hemlocks. It's actually pretty unique to see them this far south. Typically, they won't grow for another 100 miles north of where we are, but the sandstone gives off a cooling effect that allows them to grow here in the Dells.
plant life, but I don't care.
The left, the old riverbed meets back up with us. So this is the end of that large island on our left. We're also going to pass by a concrete dock on the right, so that leads down to Coldwater Canyon. We go there in the summertime on our ghost boat.
My storage is coming up to an end, so I guess I'll stop it there.
Also coming up on the right, we're going to pass by a large slab of rock that's fallen down. We call it a giant shield, as it is in the shape of a giant shield. We use this as a natural high water marker. Right now we're about 3 feet higher than normal water, which is pretty typical for the springtime. But it's gotten much higher in the past. Back in 2010, the water reached the top of that shield, along with 1993. In 1938, the highest recorded water reached 4 feet above the top of the shield. Someone was asking me about the wildlife out here. We do have many fish in the water. There's 37 different types of fish in the area. Lots of walleye, bass. We also have sturgeon. Those can get up to 6 feet long. You can see one of our Wisconsin River alligators actually coming up on the left-hand side.